Hey, it is Damon Frank with Recovered Life, and I am back with my favorite life and recovery strategist, George Snyder. How you doing,
Hey,
George?
Damon. Good to see you.
Really great to see you. Another great talk we're going to have today here. And I love the topic that we're going to talk about. And it's something that really, honestly, we covered a couple of times in the old school men's mastermind group. And I think the way you wrote it, I think the topic is almost like a Star Wars sequel.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
quite as good as The Mandalorian, but it's good. And
it's pretty
should I
close.
give everybody the
Pretty close.
topic,
Yeah,
which is
yeah, yeah,
really good
yeah,
that you wrote?
yeah.
The awakening must continue. Sobriety is only the beginning. Come on, guys. That's pretty good. That's
Got to
ripped
admit,
from the headlines, right?
ripped from the headlines.
Well, as long as, we like to have fun here, but we also like to try to get something out of these. And I wanted to kind of dive into what this means. The awakening must continue. And it's a lot about why, the ideas I've had for Recovered Life and why both of us have been really passionate about this, and other people that we know have been passionate about
Yeah,
interacting and participating in recovery life, is because sobriety is really the beginning. Most of the people
exactly.
that we know that we deal with day to day will be in recovery for decades, right? They've been in recovery from decades.
Yeah.
So it's only the beginning, and the first awakening is only the first awakening. Many more awakenings must continue. And I think if people are listening to this, the question that they might have, and this question I'm going to ask you, is what is the importance of a spiritual awakening in recovery?
It's a good question. I mean, I think, as you said, and I hear people in recovery say, well, sobriety is what you get. I think that is, as you said, it's only the beginning. It's and a lot of people use architecture as a metaphor, building a foundation but and that's not bad, but I think for me a better metaphor is the journey. It's a journey. Ram Dass said we're all just walking each other home. And
Mm-hmm.
really that so speaks to my heart and speaks to me about what this is all been about. You come into recovery and you do. It's kind of awakening up. I mean, I remember early on thinking, felt like I had been peeled, do you know? Just
Yeah.
so conscious after so many years of not wanting to feel, not wanting to have any sense of being, to suddenly be awake and wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just the start. It's got to be just a start. Got to be just a start.
I think one thing too that is always, after you have been in recovery for a while, you start to realize when you're first in recovery and have these awakenings, you think, oh, this has got to be special to people who are just in recovery. And as you learn, awakenings have been going on with everybody for millennia, right? But the significance of it to people who are in recovery is a little different in the application about what we get out of it, right?
Yeah.
And what I really like is the whole idea of, it's not really the first awakening. We have to continue to awaken, to unfold. And I'd love for you to hear your thoughts on that. And I know a lot of the guys added some amazing things to this that I had never thought of before.
Yeah. And, as we say, this is not a process can be finished and done with, and it was just recently talking to one of my buddies, and he said, I didn't know you could feel this way. And I said, because he sounded great and he's done a lot of work. He's done a lot of, and he said, I didn't know you could feel this way. And I said, it's called feeling okay. It's called feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel good. And that, for those of us who spend so much of our lives not feeling anything, to awaken is to find out that there's a whole other way. There's Chuck Chamberlain used to say that, we're a strange breed of cat. We can't see till we can see. We can't hear till we can hear. Mm-hmm. And then we do. There's a whole other, and I've said this to guys, there's a whole other reality you're just not aware of because you can't see it, can't hear it. And then you get into recovery, begin to put some time together and be around us, and you're like, oh wow. And I remember early on, I was walking with somebody, and we're walking down the street. They had these little wind-up dogs, the little pink dogs that you wind them up, and the street vendors sell them on the sidewalk. And he had wound up a bunch of them. All these little pink dogs are bouncing around the sidewalk. And I wasn't really sure, to tell you the truth. I wasn't really sure what was happening. And the guy that I was with leaned over, and he said, "They're really there." Wow.
Yeah, I was
like, yeah, I know, but I wasn't sure.
You didn't know. Yeah, the thing that I really got out of the group with this particular topic was the importance of continuing your spiritual journey and the problems that you can get into if you're somebody in recovery and you choose no more. I've gone as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going to have any more awakenings. The absolute, destruction that actually causes with people in recovery. It's shocking.
Well, you stop. You can't stop growing. That's it, and that's what I find sad. It says, well, I don't get high anymore. I guess that's just it. No. And you said it to me, it was so important when you said, maybe I don't know what this God thing is, this higher power is, but I can have a relationship with it.
Yeah.
I can check in with it. And I think to build a relationship with something, not even sure what it is, and get that reality check with the people who say, yeah, there really are little pink dogs bouncing around the sidewalk. You're okay, and realize that too is part of it, that the world is strange. And I can awaken to that, and I can see experiences. Things begin to happen. You think, but you can't stop. This is not something to be finished and done with. And I think that so many people get in that retrogressive groove. I think that's the old language. Get in a rut. Yeah. And
I think a lot of people think that this is not something that I can be done with means I just have to clean a bunch more coffee pots and do this, but that's not what that means, right? I have to work with 10 more people until I don't sleep. That's not what this means. What this means is that, and this is where I think the everyday heroes are in recovery. And what I see so prevalent in the old school men's mastermind group is we go there, right? And it's the everyday heroes of the faith it takes to step back out on the battlefield one more time to have yet another deepening awakening is impressive. And it challenges me personally to do the same.
Yeah. I mean, to quote Oprah, all right, God's in the cleanup. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily bad things happen, but what are you going to do about it? Where God is in the cleanup, God's in the cleanup. What's your reaction? And I think that in that effort, in that work, and sharing that with others, we get into that awakening and that growth. That's what's coming out of this. That's what we're talking about. We're going to continue to grow and to have a fully realized, authentic life, recovered, rewarding, real. This RL, man, it's real life, and it's a whole lot, real life, and it's a whole lot stranger, and a whole lot richer, and a whole lot more beautiful than I ever would have imagined when I was so busy trying not to feel anything, not to be present.
Well, I think we're going to end it there with the statement again: the awakening continues. Thanks, George.
Yeah. Thank you, Damon. Always good.
Yeah. Keep the conversation going. Join Recovered Life, a community of like-minded people who are looking to live their best recovered lives. Membership is free, and you can apply at recoveredlife.us.